Have you ever stopped to consider that the actual walls of your home might be playing a role in your destiny? Something far beyond just giving you shelter. We often look straight to our birth charts for answers. But what if our living spaces are just as important, maybe even more powerful? Today we're doing a fascinating deep dive into something called Vastu Shastra. It's this perspective that explores how planetary energies interact with our homes, how they're channeled through the actual design. And this isn't just about, picking paint colors. We're looking at a really deep connection between ancient astrology, Jyotish, and, environmental architecture, which is Vastu Shastra. The article we're digging into today frames Vastu Shastra as this kind of overarching science, with Vastu Shastra being how you apply it architecturally. And it says both are fundamentally tangled up with Jyotish as an energy system. Yeah, our guide for this is an article by astrologer Tushar Shukla called Vastu Shastra, Harnessing Planetary Energies Through Home Design. And it doesn't just lay things out.
It really challenges some, let's say, common ideas about how planetary influences actually work day to day. So our mission here is to unpack the article's biggest points. How it talks about our homes, not just as buildings, but as active cosmic instruments. Why, from this viewpoint anyway, traditional remedies like mantras might not stick without the right Vastu. And, maybe the most intriguing part, the surprising ways our homes could be affecting everything. Finances, relationships, you name it. Get ready for maybe a few aha moments as we explore how you might unlock your environment's full potential. Okay, so Shukla's article starts with this core idea that kind of reframes how we usually think about astrology. It suggests planets aren't just, sitting there passively in your birth chart, your kundali, that snapshot of the sky when you were born. Instead, the author argues they're constantly, actively exchanging energy, and that this directly impacts our lives, like right now, in real time.
Right. And what's really foundational about this is how it questions that common view of planets as just fixed points or markers. The article says, no, they're active, dynamic energy sources, always moving, always interacting with us. It completely shifts the focus from just a static prediction tool to a model of continuous energetic exchange. And that immediately highlights why Vastu is seen as so crucial. It's about managing these ongoing energy flows. It's moving beyond just predicting things to maybe actively shaping the energies that influence our experiences.
Okay, so if planets are these active energy sources, how does that link to our homes, our immediate space?
The source uses this really potent metaphor. It describes our home not just as a building, but as a yantra, which in this context means like a sacred geometric instrument or a device. It's painted as something that doesn't just shelter us, but actively draws energy from the universe and then gives it back to us, the people living there. Exactly. From the article's viewpoint, this means your home isn't merely bricks and mortar. It's presented more like a living thing, imbued with the life force, the energy of the people inside. This creates a direct, almost undeniable link between your personal kundali, your cosmic blueprint, and the home's specific energy setup, its Vastu. The key insight here is that your space isn't just a backdrop, it's an energetic extension of you. If the home is this active yantra, it implies energy flows both ways. We affect it, and it seriously affects us. It becomes a direct channel for cosmic forces in our everyday lives. This connection, the article really stresses, is fundamental to understanding everything else it claims.
Right, building on that, the article then makes a pretty challenging point, a critique, really. It asks why astrologers often suggest things like mantras or rituals like havans, those fire ceremonies or other offerings to, appease the planets. But the author claims they often skip explaining that the energy boost from these rituals, it can be really short-lived. Shukla argues this energy only lasts a few days if the home's Vastu setup isn't correctly aligned to actually hold on to it. It's like patching a leak in the roof but ignoring the fact that the foundations are crumbling, that kind of thing.
Yeah, that raises a really important question, doesn't it? Why do some remedies seem temporary? The article asserts that Vastu Shastra isn't some separate optional add-on. It's described as the theoretical bedrock of Jyotish itself, fundamentally based, it says, on the structure of our solar system. So the argument goes, if you're living in a home that's energetically out of sync or opposite to these cosmic principles, the power of those temporary rituals it can't last. The energy they generate just dissipates because the environment isn't set up to contain it or sustain it. It's a compelling thought that our physical space acts like a kind of energetic battery, either holding the charge or letting it leak away.
And to make this really hit home, the article gives this scenario. It says, imagine everything looks great in the birth chart, but the person hasn't been able to pay their electricity bill for 2 months. Mm-hmm. And then it links this very common modern problem
directly back to the incorrect storage or flow of planetary energies within that person's home.
It's a very direct example, isn't it? Quite stark. The article uses this to show how something seemingly ordinary, like struggling with bills, can be seen through this Vastu lens as a direct result of energy imbalances in your environment. It connects these abstract planetary forces, like Rahu maybe, which is often linked to confusion or instability, directly to the physical layout and energy of a house. It really pushes you to think about things like finances, not just economically, but energetically too.
The article also goes into the immediate, very personal impact of these energies, especially when we're most vulnerable, like when we sleep. It claims the energy of the actual spot where you sleep flows into you all night long. Just imagine the effect if that space is somehow accumulating, say, way too much Rahu energy. Rahu in Jyotish is often tied to illusion, obsession, sometimes disruption.
Well, according to the source, if you've got an overload of Rahu energy concentrated right where you sleep, it could lead to serious confusion, illusions, making you perceive things that aren't real as totally real, even when you're awake. It's a powerful, potentially quite disorienting effect, affecting your clarity, your decisions. And this is where it gets really interesting. The article also says that if that exact same energy is harnessed correctly, meaning channeled properly through Vastu, it could unlock an incredible ability to perceive the future. It flips from being a source of confusion to a source of heightened intuition.
Wow. Okay.
And this principle, the article insists, isn't just about Rahu. It's presented as a universal rule. It applies to all the planets within this system. And it's stated as 100% possible and proven, a demonstrable reality, according to this framework anyway.
That's quite a statement. 100% possible and proven. And this kind of holistic view also leads into a critique of how these ancient ideas are sometimes, missed or maybe watered down today. Yeah, the article definitely doesn't hold back on critiquing modern practices either. It argues that, according to the author, many astrologers just get people tangled up in the physical stuff, the chants, rituals, donations, without really introducing them to their true energetic nature or the deeper science behind it all. And the author also takes aim at modern home design. Shukla notes that when people hire architects for house plans, they often end up compromising on Vastu principles. And this compromise, he warns very strongly, is the first brick of their downfall. It's framed as a really fundamental error with potentially serious, lasting negative effects.
And the article clarifies that Vastu isn't some superficial trend you can just, pick up in a 6-month course. It's described pointedly as deep tantric and mechanical knowledge. That really elevates Vastu, doesn't it? To the level of a profound, complex science. It suggests it involves not just layout rules, but an almost engineering understanding of subtle energies, maybe drawing on esoteric traditions about form, function, and energy. It implies true mastery takes serious study and depth, and treating it lightly is a big mistake. The author argues that compromising on these principles isn't just a minor design issue, it's seen as actively blocking your own destiny.
And speaking of preserving deep knowledge, the article points to South India. It mentions that people there still widely recognize Vastu and apparently benefit from it. It suggests a kind of cultural continuity of this knowledge that, the author implies might be less common elsewhere. Because given all this, what's the payoff? What does this mean for us, according to the article? Shukla makes some pretty amazing claims about the benefits of correct Vastu do. He states that if you build your home strictly according to your birth chart and pure Vastu principles, a massive 90% of your problems could just vanish on their own.
Yeah, and according to the source, this goes way beyond just, structural issues or feeling good in your space. It claims that even the really difficult, terrible yogas, those specific, challenging planetary combinations in Jyotish that astrologers might flag as predicting serious problems, or even use to create fear, they actually lose their harmful power in a home that's properly aligned with Vastu. The argument is that the environment itself acts like an energetic shield or buffer. Problems that seem really deep-seated, like ongoing conflict at home, misconduct, divorce, tangled relationship issues. These are said to be significantly eased or even totally resolved. It really paints Vastu as potentially a comprehensive solution for many of life's big challenges, not just an architectural style guide.
That is a powerful claim. The idea that your environment could effectively neutralize challenging astrology. That's a huge shift in perspective. And the article even gets into the how. It outlines a method for actively storing and distributing planetary energies in your home. For instance, it claims Mars energy can be specifically drawn from copper.
Exactly. The article suggests this isn't just symbolic. It touches on principles of material resonance. Specific materials, like copper, are believed to naturally resonate with and channel particular planetary frequencies. So the idea would be to strategically place these, let's call them energy reservoirs, maybe a copper item in specific parts of your home, aligning them with planetary directions or influences to cultivate the energy you want. Imagine doing that for the sun, maybe using gold, the moon with silver, Mercury with certain gems, Jupiter with brass, all the planets. You'd be consciously energizing your home, creating a shield against negativity. It completely changes home design from just aesthetics to active energetic engineering. The very materials become tools for influencing cosmic energy.
It sounds like a really sophisticated system of, environmental energy management almost.
No.
Ultimately, the article encourages you, the listener, to ask your astrologer these kinds of crucial questions, because the reality it presents is that any difficult astrological setup first hits your mental energy field. Your internal state, from this perspective, is the initial point of impact.
And the source finishes with this incredibly powerful, almost transformative claim. If you truly master the science of balancing energy through Vastu and this deeper view of Jyotish, then even death-causing yogas, the most severe astrological configurations, cannot actually harm you. It positions Jyotish not just as fortune-telling, but as a doorway to the fundamental science of energy itself, a realm where, the author argues, physical and spiritual truths meet and become one. It suggests a radical shift in how we might see our own agency over our fate, moving away from fatalism towards active, energetic self-mastery.
Wow. So this deep dive into Vastu Vidyan, looking through the lens of Tushar Shukla's article, it certainly gives us a compelling perspective, one where our homes aren't just passive backgrounds, but active, dynamic players in our energetic health, directly shaping our fate and even how we think and feel. It's a powerful reminder that our environment is so much more than just what meets the eye.
Absolutely. This deep dive really challenges us to see our living spaces differently, not just as structures, but as dynamic energy systems that are deeply connected to our personal journeys. It leaves us with a really important question, doesn't it? If our homes truly are instruments for cosmic energy, how might intentionally designing them, or even just consciously assessing them using these ancient principles, shift our daily lives, our experiences, and perhaps even the whole trajectory of our future? Something to think about.